Hey boys and girls, welcome to Base Camp. In case this is your first time with us, my name's Steve. I'm the children's pastor here at Bible Center Church, and I would love for you to join us. Everything is upside down. I mean, everything. Look at the stage. It's upside down. I can only imagine that you feel the very same way. I mean, you're doing online school, moms and dads are working from home, and you're distancing yourself from all these different people. Oh man, it's so hard. All of this feels kind of topsy-turvy. This month, we're going to look at everything from a different perspective and how Jesus came to turn the world upside down so it could be right side up. Jesus pretty much turned everything upside down when he came to earth, died on a cross, and rose again on the third day. He gave us a whole new world upside down. He gave us the greatest example of humility. Humility is putting others first by giving up what you think you deserve. Being humble is kind of an upside down way to live. It's a lot more common to put yourself first. Jesus, he came and flipped it right around. He showed what it looked like to put others first. He came to serve, not to be served. Kids, just like you, they sent in videos to share our bottom line and our Bible verse today. Let's check it out.
The bottom line is humility.
Humility.
Humility, putting others first
By giving up what you think you deserve.
Today, Brooks is with us, reading Philippians chapter 2, verse number 3. Let's check him out.
I am going to read Philippians 2, verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility value others above yourselves.
Wow, Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. God is asking you and I to live upside down compared to the way things are normally done, putting others first. Let's welcome Jake to introduce our Bible story. He is in a little bit of a challenge, and I wonder how he chooses to handle it.
Hey, this is Jacob, or, just Jake. Is everyone okay? There was like an earthquake or something in my room. I didn't feel it when I was outside my room, but then when I came in the room, everything was turned upside down. My table, my bed, also known as my couch, my Ferrari, my sculpture. That's better. I don't know how this could have. Wait a second. Is there such a thing as roomquake? Yeah, that must be it. Anyway, I'm supposed to talk to you today about something called humility. Humility is putting others first by giving up what you think you deserve. So that means like doing stuff for others, I guess? Like my friend Chris. He's really good at humility. I mean, he humiliates me like all the time. Am I saying that right? Humiliate. 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 He shows humility to me. He's super busy, but he always takes the time to put me first by playing his April Fool's surprises on me. Like the time he put my keys in Jell-O. Or the time he made me a tray of brownies. Brownies. And who can forget the old unscrew the top off the salt surprise? Chris is a funny guy. Hey, you know what I think? And this is just between you and me. Chris is the one who turned all my stuff upside down. It wasn't a roomquake after all. This must have taken a really long time. I mean, he turned all my stuff upside down. I do need to call my mom. This must have taken a lot of work. I'm not sure that it's fair that Chris keeps playing all these April Fool's month surprises on me, and I haven't even got him once. I don't deserve this. What I deserve is to get him back. Was that my toaster? The story today is about Jesus when he prayed in the garden while his friends couldn't even stay awake to keep watch. Jesus didn't deserve that. I wonder what he did about it. Stay tuned. I'm gonna come up with a way to turn the tables on Chris. Chris is gonna notice when he goes in his room the tables aren't the way he remembered them. I'm gonna get the revenge I deserve. I'm gonna get the revenge I deserve, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, okay.
Revenge doesn't sound much like humility. Humility is this: putting others first by giving up what you think you deserve. And Jesus always put others first. He was the greatest example of humility, someone we need to look to see how to live in a relationship with God and a relationship with the others. Because Jesus turned the whole world upside down in the way that he lived. Before we get into the story from Matthew chapter 26, let me set the scene a bit for you and for me. During the final week of Jesus' life, there were some pretty important events that went down. You see, the Jewish leaders, they had been plotting for some time how they could get rid of Jesus, who they saw as a threat to everything they stood for. That Sunday before Passover, Jesus had entered into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey, fulfilling the powerful Old Testament prophecy about the coming king. This did not go over too well with those religious leaders. Meanwhile, Judas, one of Jesus' disciples, crafted a plan with the religious leaders to hand Jesus over in exchange for only 30 pieces of silver. Sadly, many people who misunderstood Jesus were out to get rid of him. None of this would catch Jesus by surprise. He knew why he came, and he knew what he needed to do. As families all around Jerusalem were celebrating Passover meal, Jesus gathered with his closest friends and shared the meal with them, but also tried to prepare them for what was about to take place next. Then, after the meal, Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane. He said for them to sit here a while. I'll go over there and pray. He took Peter, James, and John, the two sons of Zebedee, and he began to become sad and troubled. Then he said to them, my soul is very sad. I feel close to death. Stay here. Keep watch with me. This may be the side of Jesus that you and I aren't used to seeing. Sad, troubled, close to death, very sad. What was happening here? Jesus seems to be going through something very serious. I think we need to read a little bit more in our Bibles from Matthew chapter 26. He went a little further. Then he fell with his face to the ground and began to pray. He said, my Father, if it is possible, take this cup of suffering away from me, but let what you want to be done, not what I want. This was a powerful moment in the garden that night. Jesus wrestled with the reality of what was about to happen. He knew the events that were following would be terribly difficult. The betrayal, the trial, the cross. And he asked his Father to take it away, but let's see what Matthew has to say. Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour, he asked Peter. Watch and pray, then you won't fall into sin when you are tempted. The spirit is willing, but the body is weak. Jesus went away. A second time, he prayed, my Father, is it possible for this cup to be taken from me? But if I must drink it, may what you want be done. In that moment, when he needed his friends, his closest friends the most, they were off sleeping. But notice how once again, Jesus faced the reality of what was going to happen, but then asked God for the strength to do it. Then he came back again and found them sleeping. They couldn't keep their eyes open, so he left them and went away once more. For the third time, he prayed the same thing. 3 times Jesus wrestled. 3 times he was able to say, not what I want, but God, what you want. And I want your will to be done. Then he returned to the disciples. He said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour has come. The Son of Man is about to be handed over to sinners. Get up, let's go. Here comes the one who's about to overtake me. As Jesus was talking to his disciples, Judas arrived. But he wasn't alone. he had a large crowd carrying swords and clubs, a small army, come to arrest Jesus. After Judas signaled to the crowd which one was Jesus, they grabbed Jesus to arrest him. At that moment, one of Jesus' disciples, Peter, grabbed the sword and began to fight back. But get this, Jesus stopped him. Why? Do you think, Jesus said, I can't ask my Father for help? He would send an army of more than 70,000 angels right away. But then, how would the scriptures come true? They say it must happen this way. Jesus told the disciples, I could stop this if I wanted to, but it has to happen this way. Remember, Jesus just came from an intense time of prayer to his Father about his mission and resolving himself for the hard journey ahead. And immediately, that hard journey began. Betrayal, arrest, but Jesus was ready. He did not resist, even though he could have. Jesus knew that this was the Father's plan, that he would put that plan first no matter what. I think it's safe to say that God did not want his son to die, but God knew that this was what was necessary to take care of the damage that sin had caused to all mankind. For the sinless one to take the sin of all, God knew what had to happen, and Jesus trusted God's plan even when it meant it cost him. Sometimes putting others first can be costly.
Somebody's gonna get a mustard-filled donut later, and I'm finally gonna get what I deserve. Hey, did you know that Jesus didn't deserve all that stuff that happened to him? Like when his friends ditched him when he needed them, and when those people arrested Jesus even though he never did anything he wasn't supposed to? And then, when he was put on that cross, what? Jesus could calm a storm with his hand and bring dead people back to life. Why do you let all that bad stuff happen to him? Turns out, it was all a part of the plan. When God created the world a whole bunch of years ago, he knew people were gonna need help if they were gonna have a relationship with him. So, he told people he was sending someone who would have to pay for all the stuff they did wrong. And that someone was Jesus. But it's not like Jesus wanted to go through all that bad stuff. In the garden, he was like, God, any chance there's a different way to save the world and stuff? But then Jesus was like, it's not about what I want, God, because what you want is better. So, what did Jesus do to his friends in the garden who let him down? He put them first. And what did Jesus do to those people who arrested him for no reason? He put them first. And what did Jesus do for you, me, and the whole world? He put us first. It's kind of an upside down way of doing things. Putting somebody else first for no reason when they don't earn it or when they may not even deserve it. I bet we can put people first like Jesus did. We could let someone else pick what restaurant to go to or what video game to play. We could give up our place in line sometimes. Or when someone surprises us by turning our room upside down, we could choose to not get even. So, here's the one thing I learned today. Put others first. It's not about what we deserve. It's not about what we want. What God wants is better. So, April Fool's month or not, I'm gonna put people first. And Chris, if you're watching, keep the surprises coming. But I won't be taking my revenge. I'll just be sitting here, getting what I truly deserve. A delicious mustard-filled donut. Ah, that's some good stuff right there. That's some good mustard. See you next time.
Peter tried to take revenge to protect Jesus, but Jesus did not, nor did he need Peter's protection. Jake, he thought about revenge, and each of them, including you and I, learned today that humility puts others first. Think about some ways you currently choose to put others' needs before your own. Then consider the ways you might be able to do that this week. You'll talk more about this with your moms and dads. Before we head out, let's commit to pray. Thank God for sending Jesus and ask God to help us put others first. Catch you later this week, and make sure you check out our Facebook page and our YouTube channel to find out some of the cool things that are happening here in Upside Down Base Camp. On Monday, we release a brand new fun game for you and for me. You'll need to check it out on one of those two places. Have a great day. See you on the flip side.